Today is that day.
A judge has some harsh words and issued jail time for a former sheriff who was accused of breaking the law.
You're not above the law.
Former Clark County, Indiana Sheriff Jamie Knoll is awaiting trial on 25 felony charges related to tax fraud and misappropriation of funds for personal use. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. As part of the case, Knoll was ordered to surrender all his weapons except for one shotgun, but the judge says some other firearms were found in his home. So he was called before the judge, who found him in contempt of the court.
What is an appropriate sanction? You know what I think the answer is? 60 days in. That's what I think the answer is today.
60 days in jail, he orders. It's a reference to the A&E series in which Knoll was heavily featured.
I didn't think it was cute.
Knoll's defense attorney argued Knoll made an honest mistake while directing two other people to round up all the guns in his home. The judge certainly didn't find the former sheriff's actions funny.
I told Mr. Knoll, don't do anything stupid. Do not try to deceive me, defy me. You will not like the consequences.
He was handcuffed and taken into custody.
Today is that day.
These are wrong address mix-ups. Louis Angelino runs a cleaning service called The Cleaning Fairy. He dusts, cleans, and even does the dishes. In 2021, he was hired to clean a friend's apartment in New Jersey. He was told he'd find the key under the mat.
2.5 hours later, place is spotless.
Then the friend reached out to Louis with a perplexing question.
Are you here? Did you come clean today? And I was like, yeah, I came and cleaned. Like, I'm sitting in your living room right now. Your cat's on my lap. I'm playing with your cat. Louis? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I don't have a cat.
Yep, Louis told Inside Edition's Les Trent that he cleaned the wrong apartment.
His apartment's 277. You were in 227,
yes.
And you had already finished cleaning the entire place.
Exactly.
It just so happens that both places had keys under the mat. This is the apartment Louis mistakenly cleaned. The homeowner was so shocked, he took this video when he came home and saw the place in pristine condition.
The couch is all put together. Everything's shining, and there's nothing in the sink.
Beth Matzo's husband shot the video.
So he said, "You're not gonna believe this." I said, "What?" He said, "Somebody broke in and cleaned our apartment."
The cleaning fairy had his work cut out for him at Beth's place.
It was filthy. The dust from renovating.
You really can't make this stuff up, but here we are.
In 2013, stranger after stranger showed up at this house. What do they want?
It is saying that this phone is at your house.
I lost my cell phone and I clicked find my phone and it said it was at this address.
My brother's phone was lost and the last ping location was right here.
They all lost their iPhones.
Hi.
Maybe you found a phone?
And the Find My app informed them that their device was at this Houston, Texas house.
It's pulling up this address.
One big problem. The phones were not in Scott Schuster's house.
And yet, it still showed my address. So it's just really bizarre.
The cops are on their way over here, so you may want to come talk to me before they come here.
I have never been threatened yet. Yet's the part that scares me.
Scott had a theory about why this was happening.
My home used to be a model home for this neighborhood. So somewhere in some database, that address lives for this neighborhood. And I feel like if it pings in my neighborhood and they can't tie it to a specific address, it falls back to my address.
This phone is at your house.
In 2018, a woman was doing this boy's mother a favor by dropping the child off at his father's house. Unfortunately, she says she was given the wrong address.
Yes, and it wasn't like that.
She says before she ran off, she saw a woman coming to the door. A woman she assumed was the little boy's stepmom.
I could see her through the glass window. And I'm pretty sure she could see me standing there too.
She says the boy's mom had a strained relationship with the stepmom, and she was told not to engage in any conversation.
She said, leave him on the porch. I said, you sure you want me to leave your child on the porch? She said yes. I didn't stay at the door because I seen her coming halfway to the door.
The child was placed temporarily with Child Protective Services. He later went back home with his mom.
Everybody looking at me like the bad person. I was only helping my friend out by doing her a favor.
Dramatic video from 2023 showed a SWAT team raid. Cops in gas masks searched a home from top to bottom. With guns drawn, they searched every room looking for a murder suspect. But there was a major problem. The cops got the wrong house. Amy Hadley told Les Trent they completely ransacked her house.
They destroyed the whole house.
Cops were tracking the suspect by his Facebook account and were told by an internet provider that he was using a device inside the house. So they surrounded the property. Using a bullhorn, they ordered everyone outside.
Somebody's walking out.
Amy's 15-year-old son came out with his hands up.
Hands up!
Listen to what one cop said.
That's not him.
His mom came home to find the property taped off. She and her daughter tried their best to tell cops they made a mistake.
That's not the right house.
She says the cops launched dozens of tear gas grenades in the house. She also said they shattered windows, punched holes in the walls, ransacked furniture and closets, and left the home a mess.
There was glass in the beds. We couldn't even sleep in our house. My son and I had to sleep outside. The tear gas was that bad.
It was a nightmare for this family in 2020 when cops burst into their home, which turned out to be the wrong address. And the homeowner was a retired police officer.
To me, it was terrifying.
Luis Rodriguez, his wife, and 2 kids were home in Houston. He heard deputies bang on the door and yell out that they were looking for somebody named Curtis.
And there's no Curtis Rogers that lives in this house. Sir, you have the wrong house.
Up to the time when they were coming through the door, I still wasn't sure that these guys were police officers.
I don't think you should open it.
Yeah, they're busting our We got the wrong house.
Rodriguez and his son were ordered outside. Rodriguez says he was left with a bruise on his arm.
I was afraid that they might discharge a firearm inside of my house and possibly, injure or kill someone.
I thought somebody was trying to break into our house.
I told you at the door there was no such person here.
It doesn't work like that. Everybody, everywhere we go says he ain't here.
In a statement, the sheriff's office said, deputies realized they made a mistake and the sheriff's office arranged to have the door replaced. The sheriff's office regrets the mistake and the incident is under review.
We hadn't done anything wrong. This was the last thing a family expects to happen to them in their own home.
You got the wrong house.
In 2020, after this child got lost, he approached this home desperate for somebody to help him.
What happened?
The 7-year-old was dropped off at the wrong bus stop in Omaha, Nebraska, and didn't know his way home.
But I don't want my mom to worry about me.
Quincy had no idea how to find his home. But the smart little boy did recognize the home of his friend Max, so he rang the doorbell.
That's his mom. My brother just left me out here.
Incredibly, Max's mom had just returned home 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah. He thought he was going to be lost forever, is what he kept saying. He thought he was never going to find his parents. He thought he was never coming home.
Come in. Oh, come on, okay?
I told him that was not my stop. So then he opened the door and then he said, "Get out."
Mom Michaela was outraged.
Quincy is probably one of the sweetest, most caring and loving kids. So it's like, to be treated like that by an adult just infuriated me. There's a busy intersection directly behind the neighborhood. Anything could have happened.
They couldn't be more grateful for Good Samaritan Madison, aka Max's mom.
It's just the right place, right time situation. I owe you everything.
Why are these strangers walking up to this lady's home and ringing the doorbell?
What can I do for you?
I'm here for Nikki.
For who?
For 9 months, Elaine White was inundated with strangers showing up to her Texas front door.
There was a gentleman sitting on my bench out front with a 6-pack of Miller Lite, a 6-pack of Bud, and 6-pack of Heineken, and a bottle of whiskey.
Turns out they thought Elaine's house was a brothel.
That is correct. My address had been given out on a sex website that men go to, and they pay for sex by Venmo, and then they give them an address, and it's mine, and then they come here.
I was supposed to meet someone here.
For drugs or sex?
Second one.
Don't be scared, be prepared, and that's what I started doing. 4-inch barrel, it is loaded, and I will use it the next time they come here.
She also posted warning signs across her lawn and the police department put up security cameras on the street.
Get off my front porch.
In early 2024, Deborah and Scott Center got a beautiful new roof. The only problem, it was by mistake.
He was on a business trip and I decided to randomly go with him. So we were about 5 hours away. Meanwhile, here in Oklahoma City, we had an entire roofing crew show up at our house, trucks in the driveway, front driveway, back driveway, Dipsy dumpster, and they start going to work completely tearing off our roof. The only problem was we didn't order a roof.
It took a few hours for employees to notice their mistake.
Somebody had texted numbers and had inverted 2 numbers and sent the crew to the wrong location, to our house. And then I think the project manager showed up at the right house and said, "Where are you guys? Where's the crew?" And they're like, "We're at the house tearing off the roof." And that's when we got a pretty frantic phone call.
They sent proof of the mix-up.
And then we start receiving these photos of our house and we're like, oh my gosh, there's men crawling all over the roof. All the shingles are removed. It was a crazy sight.
The pair were good sports.
So the boss calls, a few minutes later, like as promised, and he's like, "I just got to tell you straight up, we made a mistake. We can't do anything about it other than, we're going to put put a roof back on. It's going to be better than what you have."
The blunder cost Graco Roofing and Constructions a pretty penny.
About $30,000.
But saved the center's money.
They came over here a couple days after they finished it, and he's like, "Hey, I just want to come and personally apologize. Here's your warranty. Here's the information on the roof. Give it to your insurance company. It's going to save you some money. We've got a new quote now that's going to save us $3,500 a year on our insurance premium."
A squirrel is trapped inside a kiddie pool, and this woman is coming to the rescue.
Don't touch him.
I need gloves.
Don't touch him.
I have to help him.
She tries a chair.
I'm saving you. Let me save you.
It works.
Thank you.
Sort of.
These are the stories you can't miss from Inside Edition. Watch.
A police canine that was stabbed in the line of duty was airlifted for surgery. Canine Enzo of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department was stabbed multiple times by a suspect. Police say he was protecting his human handler and other officers. Officer DeMole, Enzo's handler, rushed Enzo to the vet while speaking calming words over his partner.
It's okay, my buddy. You did so good, buddy. You did good. You're a good boy.
Enzo was rushed in for care.
It's okay, buddy. Let's go. Hurry up, please. Please, hurry up. I got him.
Going that way. Veterinarians stabilized Enzo, but determined he needed to be transferred to another facility to get the care he needed. That facility was over 18 miles away, and it was in the middle of rush hour traffic. Authorities decided the best way to get Enzo into surgery was to airlift him.
I don't know if you got the call. We got one of our dogs come out to stab him. I think they're going to bring him on the helicopter and they're going to land.
It was a team effort to save the almost 3-year-old Belgian Malinois. Enzo rode in the back of the air unit's helicopter. Roads were closed so that the chopper could safely land, and a trauma team was waiting with a gurney to bring Enzo into the hospital.
Multiple officers from multiple different area commands, SWAT, K-9, patrol, flex teams, officers without hesitation knew what to do, knew how to respond, knew how to shut down traffic. And they did that, and ultimately, that's what saved Enzo's life.
After a week in the hospital, Enzo was reunited with his handler and sent home with Officer DeMole. Officials say Canine Enzo will remain off the job for several weeks to give him time to heal.
It looks like a normal day at New York's iconic Grand Central Station.
But police say this man seen meandering around the famed terminal is about to unleash a brutal attack on, of all people, a 9-year-old girl. The usual victims of sucker punch attacks have been young women who say they were assaulted as they minded their own business. But the latest victim in the sucker punch epidemic sweeping New York is hard to believe. Imagine targeting a little girl. She was in the food hall with her mother when out of nowhere, the assailant sucker punched her in the face. Cameras captured the suspect fleeing the station after the attack, which took place around noon Saturday. But later that day, police found him near a homeless shelter. And get this, just 9 days earlier, 30-year-old Giancarlo Zarzuela was charged with breaking the nose of a 54-year-old woman near the same location and was promptly released on no bail. It doesn't make any sense that this guy, who recently was released after being charged with randomly punching someone else and breaking that victim's nose, should be back in a public space where he can attack others, especially children, says the spokesman for the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Such unprovoked attacks aren't just happening in New York. This 54-year-old nurse, Mary Klein, says a lunatic socked her out of nowhere as she was taking a stroll in Venice, California. The accused homeless assailant hit her so hard, she had to have her jaw wired shut.
I think he tried to kill me, he tried to choke me, and he tried to knock me out.
Mary Klein says she'll never feel safe again.
I think we have a tremendous mental illness crisis with the homeless population. We don't realize that our families are not safe.
Now the TV chef who apparently has done a vanishing act. The wife of a chef who appeared on Chopped says he simply disappeared, leaving her and the kids wondering what has happened and how does the family get any answers. As Les Trent reports, it turns out social media can help solve mysteries.
Did this TV chef disappear into thin air? He seemed to have it all. 29-year-old Charles Withers was a contestant on the popular Food Network show Chopped.
So there is no ingredient that I'm not going to know how to handle.
He was married with a little boy and another child on the way. Suddenly, one day, his wife Ashley says she was ghosted. The man of her dreams disappearing from their Massachusetts home without so much as a goodbye.
He flipped my world upside down.
Where could he possibly be? His wife set out to find her husband, and she seemed to have an inkling what he might be up to. So she turned to a popular Facebook page called Are We Dating the Same Guy? I'm really about to test the power of Facebook with this one, she declared. When I was pregnant with our youngest baby, he decided being a husband and a dad wasn't the lifestyle he wanted anymore, and he ghosted, like gone, without a trace. An army of women went to work to track him down.
What the heck, Charlie? Where are you?
It didn't take long for this citizen sleuth, J. Megan Shushka, to apparently hit pay dirt.
It seems like he is actually in Texas. I've been talking with women who have been matching with him on Bumble in the Fort Worth and Dallas area. It started out with a couple dozen women telling me that they had seen him on dating apps in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, narrowing it down from there.
Then this video of McGuire popped up on Instagram on Saturday, and it's a doozy. He appears to have started a new life as a personal chef for TV's top producer, the renowned Taylor Sheridan of the wildly popular show Yellowstone. This clip of McGuire pouring a drink was recorded by Sheridan's wife, Nicole, at the Sheridan Ranch in Texas.
From there, it just was confirmation that we knew exactly where he was and who he was working for. Would you look at that? It's Charles Withers.
The whole search only took a grand total of 24 hours. That's how fast the so-called Girls Girl Network worked.
A network of women helping another woman who was wronged by somebody.
Cops come knocking on your front door. Something's up, but what?
Hello, you ordered groceries? Yes. Your driver got arrested, so we're delivering your groceries.
You heard right. Police pulled over the delivery driver on an existing warrant as he was on his way to deliver the groceries to this house in Titusville, Florida. Then they completed the order.
Wow. Yeah. You haven't had that before. No, but we didn't want your groceries to go to waste.
Nice guys. And this Amazon driver is doing everything just right. He gently drops off his customer's package, takes a picture of the box to confirm delivery, and then gets back into his car to leave. But as the driver swings the blue Volkswagen around, look what happens. Whoops. Inside Edition spoke to the homeowner.
Of course, a nice dented up box here for you. This is the stuff that you see on the news. Like, this is the stuff that goes viral.
What was in the box?
I got some deodorant. I couldn't help but laugh.
This guy is pulling up to a traffic light. Ahead is a gray pickup truck.
What are we doing?
With his dog at his side, Thomas Brocuglio honks his horn, trying to get the driver in front of him to make a turn.
What are you doing?
What happens next is hard to believe. The peeved pickup driver gets out of his vehicle and walks over to the van. A nasty confrontation ensues.
You're the one sitting on your phone doing other things.
Wasn't on my phone.
Really?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, I saw you looking
No,
down
it wasn't
doing
on my
everything
phone.
else.
Then this happened. Look again. The dog seems to instinctively know his master is about to get sucker punched. The victim calls 911.
Punched me in the face through my window.
Police found the suspect at home, and guess what? He turns out to be a cop himself, Corporal Alan Ganter of the Meriden, Connecticut PD.
My fault. Come on.
They took photos of his hands for signs of the sucker punch. He quickly fesses up.
My fault for not having self-control.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
Amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
These teens were rescued from dangerous situations. In 2022, Missouri firefighters rescued 2 teenagers who fell through ice. Ironically, the first responders were training for ice rescues at the time.
You went from kind of standing around talking about the ice, kind of rehashing what you'd just done, to actually having to get out there and do it. You didn't have time to think. You tried your best to get your suit on, get everything ready, get out there as fast as you can.
As firefighters wrapped up their training, the teens were spotted running across the lake. In less than 15 seconds, the ice broke.
They were spotted by our deputy chief. She pointed out to us. We all turned to look, thought, oh no, please don't go through the ice. Next thing you know, they went through.
They were definitely becoming hypothermic. One of the individuals was very, very lethargic, and what I mean by that was he was pretty much floating vertically with only his face above water and wasn't moving.
Come on, help me pull him up!
In 2022, Maryland officers saved a teen who jumped into a frozen creek trying to save their friend. By the time cops got there, that friend was already safely back on shore.
Watch it! Help me pull him up!
I have a rope for you.
I got you.
Police body cam video shows the dramatic moment when the teen took hold of the rope, while officers pulled the kid to safety.
Watch it! You're okay. Roll over for me. That was a brave effort you did there.
In 2021, Trent Jarrett was live streaming his ATV ride in West Virginia when he crashed. He became pinned under the vehicle.
It rolled and went on its side and onto my back to where I could hardly breathe. There was no possible way I could lift it off me. I had all of my body parts pinned down on the ground.
800 miles away in New Hampshire, Caden Quaitner watched the accident unfold on TikTok.
I didn't realize something was wrong until he actually started saying that he can't move and he can't breathe hardly.
Trent began yelling out his grandparents' phone number.
304-935. Oh my God, somebody call that number. Somebody call it right now. 304-935. God, please save me.
He said, somebody please call this number, and it was his grandparents' house phone number. So that's when I realized that there was actually like something wrong.
Caden informed his parents, who called the phone number. Trent's dad rushed to the scene and came to his son's rescue. He had a few cuts and bruises after the accident, but he gained a new friend.
I'm very thankful for him and his family and his smart thinking, and yes, we are good friends now.
In 2016, a 17-year-old Florida girl was rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard after getting separated from her family during a kayaking trip. The search for the teen lasted 4 hours. The girl told the Coast Guard she lost her paddle when she was struck by the wake of a boat. First responders say the teen suffered from mild hypothermia and was taken to the hospital. In 2022, 17-year-old Chloe Adams clutched her dog on a rooftop during a deadly Kentucky flood.
I was just completely terrified because the water was still rising as we were on the roof. I checked to see if my dog could swim, and when I found out she couldn't, I knew I needed to find something that she could float on.
She put the dog in a plastic container on top of a couch cushion and pushed it through the water to her neighbor's rooftop.
I did not think I was going to make it out alive.
5 hours later, her cousin arrived in a kayak to help. They made sure Sandy was rescued first.
She's been my very best friend, so I put her before I put myself, and I could not leave her on the rooftop by herself.
In 2022, a basketball coach saved a student's life. High school freshman Riley Kelly was eating a cheeseburger when he began to choke on his food. Coach Joel Hauser was on his laptop while on duty in the lunchroom. He noticed Riley struggling to breathe and immediately went over and performed the Heimlich maneuver. In 2017, high school freshman Will Olson was eating lunch when he began to choke. His friend Ian Brown calmly sprang into action. He performed the Heimlich maneuver and the food popped out.
I was just doing what I was taught and trained to do.
My parents told me what to do in this kind of situation, give a sign to your friends that there's something wrong here, and that's what I did. I could feel it like in my throat, like going up and down, like trying to get out, but it just wouldn't dislodge.
It's not preferably something I ever want to see again.
I feel like if he wasn't there, I'd be dead.
In 2022, Principal Jody Sowards performed life-saving CPR after a student collapsed and stopped breathing.
And when I came out the door of the cafeteria and I looked to the right going down the hallway, that's when I saw the young man laying in the floor at that time.
8th grader Timothy Johnson was playing basketball and started to feel unwell. He left the gymnasium and went to the hallway where he went unconscious.
At that first moment, there was blood coming out of his mouth and I didn't know why. So we're doing all those assessments and you know, like, what can I do? Is like, you know, you need to call 911. And so I was telling people to call 911 and people just started working together. And the assistant coach and I kind of did a quick assessment. And I was like, I don't have a pulse.
Sowards started CPR.
We kept looking and seeing, and the assistant coach said, hey, I got a pulse, but it's faint. And then we couldn't get it again. And I didn't see any cognitive movement. The only thing I knew to do is we just kept doing the CPR. But I didn't know, you know, is there problems cognitively? You know, how long was this kid without oxygen? Are there going to be any long-term effects? Those sort of things. And I didn't have an answer that night.
Sowards was relieved when more than a week later, Johnson unexpectedly showed up at the school for a visit.
He is alive, and that's the most important thing, and he's able to function, and just, you know, the future can be bright for this young man.
He attended a ceremony where Principal Sowards was honored with the Superintendent's Superhero Award for his actions.
To me, it's not hero worthy, I guess. It's just something I'm supposed to do. You know, I was here at the right moment, at the right time, and God's got a plan. If people could just help people and just kind of be prepared to be looking out for things, you know, don't be afraid to assist. And I know there's always the what ifs, but just don't take life for granted.
During a 2016 high school volleyball game, one of the players suddenly collapsed. You can hear when she hits the hardwood floor. The teen was in full cardiac arrest, so a coach performed CPR. Then school administrator Julie Sermons rushed in with the defibrillator.
Life started to come back in her, and it was wonderful to see.
I had pain down my left arm and my heart felt like it was working really hard, but I just assumed I was out of shape.
We were just desperately praying
It was 4.5 minutes. I mean, it was a long time to watch them doing compressions, and definitely we thought we'd lost her.
Feel good, better than before.
In February of 2024, Deputy Dina Byland sprinted to help a student. The student had collapsed during practice and wasn't breathing.
You get the breast, I'll get the chest, okay?
Press.
Come on, buddy! You are there!
He got a pulse and he started breathing. It's very intense and it's a lot of responsibility that we shoulder. We just know what to do. We get a lot of training.
It was a team effort. The school's track coach, Lauren Palick, had started compressions before the deputy arrived.
So I just focused on counting and relying on what I learned in the training, which I think obviously was very valuable.
The teenager was taken to a Tampa hospital where he died for 8 minutes, but within 24 hours he was back on his feet.
I don't remember nothing.
The 17-year-old had no memory of the ordeal, and doctors couldn't explain why his heart stopped. In 2017, this girl fell into the arms of an angel.
I yelled up to her, "Let go, I promise I'll catch you."
Matthew Howard is the brave dad who caught the 14-year-old girl.
Her neck is stuck!
She dangled off the Sky Ride at Six Flags in upstate New York. As she was hanging by her neck, her terrified little brother sat there helpless.
Sorry. Glad my daughter was with me. I'm glad this gentleman was there trying to help.
Matthew and his daughter Leanne stood right under the girl as she hung on for dear life. Lawrence recorded the heart-stopping drama on his cell phone.
Brother was screaming, what really got me is that I can't pull her back up. She can't breathe. She's choking. Her head's stuck. Her neck's stuck.
They'll catch you, honey. When she released, I just braced my body and poof, there she goes.
Oh! When she came flying down from about the middle of her back down, landed right here on my father's chest, which knocked them both down. And when I realized what was going on, I put my hands out to catch her neck and her upper back.
Both Matthew and the girl were knocked out cold when she fell, but only for a moment. Afterward, they were both taken to a local hospital.
God dropped an angel. We all saved her.
In 2021, a Good Samaritan noticed a teen doing this and called 911.
I've been following this Toyota Corolla from Adams County. This female on the passenger side, brunette, motioning for help, call 911.
She was giving the TikTok signal, the hand gesture signifying that she needed help.
They apparently learned the hand gesture after watching this demonstration on TikTok of a woman using the signal as her abuser stood in the background. Here's how it works. Place your hand like this, palms out, then tuck your thumb into the center of the palm and cover it with your fingers. It's a way to subtly let others know you're in distress without having to verbalize it.
Just all one fluid movement, and it says, I need somebody to check in with me in a safe way.
Kennedy Littledyke from Napa, Idaho survived a terrifying car accident in 2021.
I was having a really hard day because me and my past boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, we broke up 2 days prior, and I was 16, I was emotional. I started to go off the road on the left side, and I overcorrected too far, and I went off the road on the right side, and my side of the vehicle hit the power pole, and it flipped us sideways, and we started flipping and rolling, and we didn't have our seatbelts on. So when we were flipping and rolling, I was the first one out, and I wasn't on the ground. I was actually hanging in the power line by my broken leg.
Doctors couldn't save her leg, but the accident transformed her.
I'm in a whole different, harder situation, but I'm so much happier.
Ever see a watermelon explode? Well, now you have. How about in slow motion? There you go. The summer fruit was detonated by the LA Fire Department to show the potential dangers of illegal fireworks.
These are the stories you can't miss from Inside Edition. Watch.
It's a good thing this guy doesn't have to pay child support. Meet Trigger. This handsome devil is well acquainted with the birds and the bees and has lots of pups to show for it. The 9-year-old golden retriever has been top stud for the UK charity Guide Dogs. His prolific procreation has resulted in 39 litters, totaling 323 puppies. Sarah Byrne is Trigger's human mom. She says the retriever is retiring from the offspring business.
He did have a break at one point because obviously he just needed a break, really. He used to go out to the centre and he'd be all excited. But obviously if it was just for an eye checkup or something, you know, you'd come back an hour later and he was a bit disappointed.
Guide Dogs has nicknamed Trigger the Dog Father and calls his many, many pups the Triglets. But Trigger isn't out here making single mothers. His Triglets all have important jobs to do. 294 were trained to be guide dogs for the visually impaired, and the rest learned other canine assistance roles. For now, Trigger will have to ease into retirement, though it may not be as much fun as making puppies.
This video will make your blood boil. A woman is shopping when a brazen creep appears to slide his cell phone right under her skirt. He may have gotten away if not for another woman who caught the incident on video and then confronted the guy until help arrived. Jim Murray reports.
That creepy guy is about to target the woman crouching by the children's bookshelf. Watch as he slips his phone beneath her skirt.
Excuse me, what are you doing? No, I just saw you put that underneath her dress.
But another shopper confronts him.
No, ma'am, I really wasn't. You absolutely did. Then show me your phone. No, we're going to call security.
He claims he was shopping for children's books because his sister is pregnant, but neither woman is buying it.
You've been extremely close to me this whole time. Please show me your phone.
No.
I really promise I wasn't trying to do anything inappropriate. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I'm not like that.
Obviously you are. I literally have it on video. I knew you were up to no good.
Despite his denials, police arrested 21-year-old Thomas Elliott at the Target store in Greenville, North Carolina. He's charged with 5 counts of felony secret peeping. Get this, he's a volunteer at a local church and an elementary school. Both have cut ties with him. There's an epidemic of upskirt incidents across America. Creeps using cell phones and sometimes selfie sticks to target unsuspecting women in stores and on public transportation.
I think she sized this guy up. What he did was so brazen, it was so outrageous and egregious that it almost begged for confrontation.
Experts say women should be aware of who is around you. Also, perhaps a sad sign of the times, consider wearing bicycle shorts or similar garments beneath dresses for extra privacy.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
Authorities arrested the Peeping Tom and obtained a search warrant for his cell phone. Police say he denied any wrongdoing. Stick around. There's more Inside Edition Can't Miss coming up.
It was a dream vacation. Then came the shock of their lives when they received their cell phone bill.
There's a war going on in this country, and it's not over politics. It's about who can build the highest and fastest roller coaster.
These are definitely not your grandpa's roller coasters. 3 massive coasters are making their debut this spring to lay claim to being called the biggest, baddest ride in the USA. The Wall Street Journal even terms it the roller coaster arms race. The Georgia Surfer at Six Flags in Austell, Georgia, launches riders up a 144-foot tower. Look at the track. It just comes to an end in mid-air. In Cedar Point, Ohio, the Top Thrill 2 will be the park's #1 attraction.
A little nervous? Yeah, a little nervous.
These guys got a test run on the 420-foot thrill ride that reaches speeds of 120 miles per hour. And in Dorney Park, Pennsylvania, we got the chance to experience the Iron Menace. It's Dorney Park's biggest ride in its 164-year history. The ride creeps up to 160 feet before pausing at the top for what seems like forever before dropping riders at a crazy angle. Inside Edition producer Marissa Zayed gave the Iron Menace a try. She loves roller coasters.
I'm one of the first people to ride the Iron Menace. I have butterflies. This looks super steep and I'm really nervous, but I'm excited. That was amazing.
But when is enough enough? Are the rides just too darn scary?
Say mom or dad doesn't want to ride with one of their teenagers or one of their kids, they can say, I'm going to sit on the sidelines, but they'll still get the full experience because they get to see the drop.
Of course, being scared to death is exactly the point.
More Inside Edition coming up.
It is the heartbreaking Uber shooting that shocked the nation. Now we are seeing body cam video of police arriving on the scene. Both the 81-year-old man and the Uber driver he fatally shot had fallen victim to a phone scam. And as Jim Murray reports, the new video shows cops getting the alleged scammer on the phone.
May I ask you who I'm talking to?
Just released police body cam footage reveals chilling new insight into the scam call that led to the fatal shooting of an innocent Uber driver and the arrest of this elderly man who told cops he thought he was being threatened.
Are you injured anywhere?
Terrifying video from the Uber driver's dash cam shows 81-year-old William Brock pointing a gun at the 61-year-old driver. He's just shot her in the leg. Lolitha Hall frantically tries to explain she's there to pick up a package, but the homeowner shoots her 2 more times, killing her.
Because they threatened to kill me.
Brock, who sustained a cut to his head, tells police that a scammer had called him, threatening his family, demanding $12,000. He was told that a female driver would be coming by to pick up the money. Cops say the Uber driver was completely unaware of the scam. Incredibly, while officers were responding to the scene at Brock's home in South Charleston, Ohio, cops say the scammer called the man's home again. A detective picked up the call.
May I ask you who I'm talking to?
Yes, this is the officer speaking.
Okay, what officer?
Yes.
No, I need to know what officer, sir.
You're going to be in trouble.
Okay. Let me ask you this. The female you sent over here, you know who she is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, she's been in an accident. And this is actually an officer. It's Detective Cruz with the Clark County Sheriff's Office.
He hangs up, but calls back as the sinister plot unravels.
Is she okay?
No, she's not doing well.
What hospital is she
I'm not going to tell you that until you meet me.
Police say the suspected scammer agreed to meet them, but never showed up. Brock was arrested for murder. The Uber driver, Lolitha Hall, was remembered at this funeral service by her only son.
We had a bond like no other. But she was also my best friend. You are the best mom that anyone could ask for.
They took a trip to Switzerland and sent photos and texts back home, but their phone bill ended up being more than $143,000. Here's what you need to know before your next vacation.
It was a dream vacation. Picturesque countryside? Check. Charming village? Check. Renee and Linda Ramond had a great time exploring Switzerland.
It's the most magical place in the world.
Then came the shock of their lives when they received their cell phone bill. The jaw-dropping amount due, more than $143,000.
I go, wait a second, 143,000, 400 and some change? That can't be. This is not possible.
If I saw a bill for $143,000, my first reaction would be shock.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I was not going to write a check for $143,000. That was not going to happen.
The Florida couple are experienced travelers, and before each trip, they say they notify their phone carrier.
I went to the store and I said, guys, I'm going to be going over there. And they looked at my plan, they looked at my phone, and they said, oh, you're good. But I didn't think they were going to stiff me to the tune of $143,000.
CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg.
People need to know that every single telephone provider offers a roaming plan if you're going to travel overseas. It could be as cheap as $10 a day.
He suggests an email confirmation from your phone carrier that shows you've changed your roaming plan for any upcoming international travel.
Just the thought of owing somebody $143,000 worth of bogus money, that's ridiculous.
There are still so many stories to tell. Stick with the stream for more from Inside Edition.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times. Yeah.
What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
I love them. Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel. Amazing. Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.